Hey YouTube, how's it going? I understand that starting out in SEO could be quite expensive with the list of tools available on the market, which start off with a couple of $100 a month. So overall, I've put together a quick list of free SEO tools that I use on a daily basis. Please note that some of these tools that I feature do have paid components to them, but for those tools that have paid components, we'll be focusing on the free components of said tools. So please stick around, and if you get a lot of value out of this video, please comment, hit the like button or subscribe. It will mean a lot to me. So moving along, the first tool that we're going to cover is Screaming Frog. For those who've been in the SEO industry, Screaming Frog has been around for a very long time and have probably heard about it multiple times or have even used it. For those newcomers to the industry, or for those who are doing SEO DIY, for example, this tool is really powerful and really helpful. So what does it do? Essentially what it does is it crawls your website or any URL that you plug in, and it helps to identify key technical issues such as metadata, status codes, etc. However, with the paid version, you can export your findings into CSV and Excel formats, and traditionally with the paid version, with the free version, I apologize, you can't export the data. But some cool functions and features that you can get out of this tool, which other tools don't necessarily do, which is you can create custom filters, for example, and you can find out, if for some reason a specific analytics tag wouldn't be on your page. It helps pinpoint those type of things as well. So there are cool advanced settings that you can get into, but overall it's very powerful. It's free for the most part, and on top of that it does get updated regularly, so I definitely recommend using this tool. But if you were to go and purchase it, it does cost approximately about $100 or so a year. I think it's about 120 Australian per year, and I do not have any affiliation with any of these tools that I'm mentioning, but this is just a tool that I use in my day-to-day whenever I do technical audits for clients. So I'm moving on to the technical components of other tools that I'm going to be discussing. We have Hreflang. This Hreflang tool itself is pretty nifty. This is a free tool that I use from another fellow SEOer, Aleyda. Hopefully I'm not pronouncing that incorrectly, but overall I've been using her tool for quite some time to do Hreflang. So for those who do not understand what Hreflang is a technical component of international SEO. So what Hreflang enables you to do is that if you have multiple sites that are targeting various geographical regions, it helps that specific site get shown to specific user from a specific geographical region. So to give you an idea, Amazon is an ideal example. There's Amazon in different parts of the world. There is Amazon for the US market, UK market, Australian market, etc. But without Hreflang, hypothetically, if Amazon didn't have it, the Australian version and the US version would be competing against themselves in search results, which wouldn't be good. It would be technically cannibalizing brand traffic and rankings. And on top of that, if they would have pages that were one-to-one exactly the same, Google would also treat it as duplicate content. So it would be really poor SEO not to implement Hreflang tags. With that explanation aside, let's get into it. So the way you would use Hreflang in this particular setting, which is with the with the example of Amazon, you would plug Amazon, the URL, into this tool. You would select the language that you would want to target, which would be English. You would want to select the geographical region that you would want to, which would be United States. And then what you would essentially do is generate either the HTML or XML version of the Hreflang component. So there's two ways to basically implement Hreflang. There is plugging in the actual HTML code on the page itself, or you will be implementing it through XML sitemap. I'm not going to go through the exact details of how to do Hreflang in this video. That'll be saved for a future video, but overall it just makes creating these tags much easier, and it definitely reduces the chances of you doing any mistakes, because you can directly copy this and or export it yep, you can download it, copy it, export it. So definitely it leaves any human error out of the equation. So definitely quick, simple and easy, and I absolutely love it. It's an absolute time saver. Moving on to some of the free Google Suite tools that will absolutely be killer for your SEO. One of my favorites that I use is PageSpeed Insights. So for those who do not know, PageSpeed is a ranking factor for SEO. And on top of that, it does improve user experience metrics. It can improve conversions and it can improve rankings as well to a degree. So the way this tool works is you plug in your URL at the top here, and then it shows you your mobile score and your desktop score. In this case, there was an error generating the desktop version, but we'll just go with the mobile version of this result. The maximum score you can receive is 100. 100 would be absolutely ideal, and the lowest is 0. And then there is a color-coded grading from red, orange, or amber, and green. So this site scored between the 0 to 49 mark, they scored 25. So for those who may have used this tool in the past, it has looked a little bit different, but over time Google has made a facelift. So recently, within the last 6 months or so, they've made a significant facelift to this tool. And the way it works is that this tool now provides more insights to what a web developer would traditionally be using to ping certain page speed issues, such as first contentful paint, first meaningful paint, speed index, first CPU idle, etc. And if all of these words sound really crazy, full of jargon, Google has also got you covered, and you hit this toggle button here and it provides you with more information. If this isn't enough information, you've also got learn more tabs, hyperlinks that open up new tabs that explain this information in more detail. So if you don't understand anything, if none of this makes sense, you can also click onto these and learn more things for yourself. But definitely it's a very, very powerful tool from an SEO perspective, and it helps ping a lot of problems, such as it does diagnose various opportunities and estimated savings. And I absolutely love it because it means that SEOs and web devs can work together even better to drive really, really great results, either for your own business or for your clients that you work with. Moving on to the next free tool that we have. So Google Trends. So Google Trends is a pretty cool tool. This is more used if you're thinking about maybe tracking, the demand of a particular product or brand. This is something interesting that I would use for potentially an e-com. If you're running an e-commerce business online and you may be potentially thinking about stocking a product, you could use this for research. Overall, it's really nifty because it gives you a nice breakdown of averages. So the way it works is that you can plug in up to free keywords and compare them in this tool. You can pick the geographical location, the time, the category. In this case would be picking fashion, for example, and style. And then you can pick either web search, image search, news search, YouTube search. So this is really cool also if you're thinking about maybe doing a YouTube idea or a content idea of some kind as well down the line. So this can be used for many components, not necessarily just SEO, but in this case I do use it from time to time to generate particular insights into brand terms, maybe product terms, if something's been dropping or increasing in performance. This is a cool tool that I can use, and what I like is, once again, it covers geography, it covers what regions are the most popular. So Slovakia, for example, I would have said it would have been the United States, but there you go. This is some really cool insights that you can get from this tool. This further related queries tool here, this is something separate of these little red barrels. This is from a separate plugin that I'm using. This doesn't come default, but I'll be talking about this separate tool later in the video. And I'm just scrolling down just to show you more interesting features. So it kind of gives you the breakdown of geographical region, who's most popular by the keyword Nike, what's most popular by Nike Air Max. And then blue and red gives you a breakdown of the tools themselves here. So definitely Nike is very, very popular. Nike Air Max 3%, Nike 97%. So really cool information that you can use for various strategies. Google Alerts. Google Alerts is a really cool one because it really helps with brand monitoring, especially if you're doing potentially some type of link building activities and you're trying to find potential new unlinked brand mentions. For those who do not know what that is basically when a publication mentions a brand that you work with or your brand that you own, and you want to get a link to that particular page. It helps to set up alerts, and it also helps so you can set up alerts potentially for your competitors. So if they're doing some type of potential link building, you can also track what they're doing in the market. And once again, it's 100% free, just like all the other Google Suite tools that I've been covering and all the tools I'll be covering later on within this video. But overall, it's a great tool. It's also good to monitor for public relations reasons as well, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're starting off with a new client, or maybe if you're trying to track industry trends within your own markets, especially if you're running a particular business and you want to keep on top of everything. I definitely recommend once again setting up alerts. It's dead simple, and the alerts go straight to your email address. So how easy is that? Moving on, this is a technical tool that we're using, which is another Google tool called Structured Data Testing Tool. And what this enables you to do is enables you to check if you have some type of markup, such as schema markup, on your page. This could be any type from review, organization, website, etc. So the way it works is you plug in a URL, and in this case this page had organizational schema comes up. So this is an example of how it looks like when you test it. We have organization, a website, and in this case I'm gonna quickly inspect organization and check what's going on and how it looks like and if there's any warnings or errors. So this is something I use when I'm either inspecting what competitors are doing, if they're using any markup that we could potentially use on our site, and potentially if I've installed markup or web developers done some work, I can definitely check if there's any errors that Google has pinged. These errors may also come up in Google Search Console, but overall it's very good and very useful to have. So definitely recommend using this tool when you get a chance from time to time. Once again, it's for free and it provides some really cool insights. One of the best tools in SEO, hands down, is Google Analytics. Yes, there is a paid and a free version. The paid version is Analytics 360. Costs a very, very large amount of money, but 99.9% of most websites on the web will never have to use those capabilities. Moving on to the free version, which is just simple analytics. The way it works is that you're enabled to track traffic going to your website. You're enabled to track so many different components of basically how users interact with your site, conversion rates, everything. So definitely this is the most powerful tool that you can have in SEO, hands down. The main reason I say that is because without data you pretty much can't make proper business decisions, and in this case it's very, very important to look into setting up a data source that collects information about the traffic coming to your website. This doesn't necessarily have to be analytics, but analytics is one of the easiest to set up. It's for free for the bulk of it, and overall you can provide so many cool additional plugins, extras, and insights for your business that I almost feel if you don't have this, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you won't be able to have any type of visibility on traffic, demographics, any type of data that would be very important for your decision making. So once again, there's plenty of tutorials online on how to set up your analytics for your site, but definitely this is one of the coolest and one of the most imperative pieces of information that you will have in determining your SEO success and your overall online success. So I definitely recommend that once again. I'll quickly go through some of the other things that you can do. So you can look into acquisition, so you can see what traffic, where people are coming from, real time, so you can see how people are interacting with your site in real time. You can look at what languages people are coming, basically using to come to your site, country, city, browser, new and returning users, percentage of sessions, bounce rate. new users, returning users, pages and sessions. So there's so many important metrics that you could use to determine how your SEO is going. And I just feel that if you don't have it, once again, I know I'm reiterating this, it's definitely a free tool that must be used for SEO. Moving on to a really cool tool that's dear and near to me, Google Search Console. For those who do not know what Google Search Console is, Google Search Console provides you with an overall overview of your site. From a tech perspective, it helps you ping certain errors, helps you identify whether you've been penalized by an algorithm update. Not necessarily penalized by an algorithm update, but it essentially enables you to see how your rankings are going, how your impressions, click-through rates, and that enables you to give a better understanding if you've been pinged by an algorithm update. But it definitely enables you to see whether you've been manually hit by a specific penalty that does break Google guidelines. So for those who do not know, you got your overview, which kind of gives you a quick breakdown of just what's going on in your site. You can go into performance, so you can tell you how many clicks have gone to your site. No, they're not sessions, so there are different metrics that analytics provides, but it enables you to see how many clicks have generated to your site, how many impressions, average CTR, average ranking position for your terms. Overall, it enables you to see you can spec your URLs to see if they've been indexed or not correctly. You can see coverage issues. And in this case, I've also provided a video. Please hit the card at the top. And I've provided a separate video which actually shows you how to remove these coverage issues, which is really cool. So if you're interested in that, and if you have a lot of issues that are coming up in your own Google Search Console, please click the link above. You can look at your sitemap, see how your sitemap's been indexed, mobile usability, security issues, manual actions. Once again, this is free, dead easy to set up, and it's very important to give you an understanding of how your SEO is progressing. So if you're doing any optimizations, you can see whether your rankings have increased for a particular term. You can look at that by just basically tracking your performance. You could see overall your average CTR for a particular term, total impressions, etc. So definitely strongly recommend it. Once again, this site that I'm using, I just use it basically at this point in time for video purposes, and I don't use this site for anything else. I don't use it for any SEO, so I just use this for visual purposes. Moving on to a cool content tool which we have is Answer the Public. For those who do not know what it is, it basically enables you to get cool content ideas or keyword research ideas. So the free version essentially only enables you to have it in the English language, and you cannot select your geographical region. For in this case, let's just say we search for search engine optimization. It basically has a visual representation of questions, prepositions, comparisons that people ask regarding search engine optimization. This is useful for two reasons. It's useful if you're doing keyword research about a topic and you're running out of potential keyword ideas. It also helps you to find long tail ideas, and you can also use it for content ideas. So this is from Great Britain. These results, which are generic, you can't change the region, so you'll be stuck with Great Britain unless you go on a paid version. So this is the way it looks like. It's really cool and useful. And if this is too difficult to read, you can also click onto the data version here, which provides you with the exact same information. So example, is search engine optimization free? Search engine optimization digital marketing. What are search engine optimization techniques? So definitely it gives them some really cool insights into basically figuring out what you can use for specific things relating towards maybe content or keyword ideas. So it's a free tool, so it's Answer the Public, and I strongly recommend it. Ahrefs. So this is a link tool. So what it enables you to do is you can check the backlinks of a particular profile. So if you go into Ahrefs /backlink -checker here, as you can see, it basically enables you to have a very free top line overview of your domain rating of the URL that you use, your backlinks, and your referring domains. So in this case, There is a paid version of this, but for those who may not be able to afford it, this is a really good alternative. Basically, it enables you to see domain rating. So what that essentially is, it's it's similar third-party metrics to domain authority. So basically, it enables you to see how powerful that domain is from a rating perspective. So basically, the way it works is that if you have a lot of high-quality, popular sites that are linking to your website, it basically boosts the popularity of your own site. So it's kind of like a popularity metric essentially, and the higher your domain rating is, the easier it is for you technically to rank in search results for more competitive terms. So definitely the higher domain rating you have, the better it is. But please note, this is a third party metric and does get updated as the formulas and metrics that Ahrefs uses changes around. So if you plug in a specific URL and it's 91 and then maybe changes to 87 over time, that could be simply because of the metric itself being updated, or maybe cutting down links or removing links from your backlink profile. So this tells you how many backlinks are pointing to your site, how many of them are do follows. So for those who do not know what that is, a do follow is basically a link that is from a third party site that is followed. So what that means is that value associated with that link is passed on to your site, because there's two types, no follows and do follows. Example of a no follow would be a link from Reddit or from Facebook or LinkedIn. Most of the time those links are no follows, so Google just counts it as a citation, or in other words, just a mention. So there's no value or very little value, if any, passed on to your website. So definitely that's healthy to have a high do follow rate. Referring domains is essentially the amount of sites that are generating the backlinks. So essentially one domain is one site. So in this case, the way to break this down, it basically means that there's 240,000 sites, give or take, that are generating this amount of links. What this also gives you is a very top line overview of your top 100 backlinks, top 5 anchor texts, and top 5 performing pages. So you can also get a trial for 7 days for $7. Please note, I'm not affiliated with Ahrefs in any way, shape or form, but definitely it is one of the more cheaper alternatives to getting good quality backlink tools for your website or for your SEO efforts. So the paid component does have other very detailed aspects, such as, broken link checks, so you can see what broken links you have. You can also do certain things as comparisons, so you can compare competitors, and other cool aspects that you can look into for link building. But I'll save that component for another video, since we're only focusing on the free aspect of Ahrefs. Another cool tool that I like to use is called iSearchFrom. So what that basically does is it enables you to search from a different geographical region. So in this case, let's just say I'm searching for search engine optimization agency, and I want to see how it looks like in Canada. I'm searching from Australia at this point in time, but I select Montreal, and pretty much I select the domain Google Canada. What's really cool about it is you can hit search, and it pretty much shows you the Canadian search result for said result. Please note that these related keywords here and people also search for is from a separate tool that I'll be discussing later on in the video as mentioned. But this is really cool, especially for international SEO, if you're trying to check how a particular page is ranking in a different geographical region that's separate from your own. It also enables you to see maybe different content opportunities, or maybe how certain content is performing in different regions or in different locations. So definitely this is a bit of an international SEO type tool, and also on top of that it's a bit of a content tool. So I definitely recommend it. It's for free and it works really cool and really well. So most of the time you have to pay quite a lot to get such a tool to work, but this is for free and definitely recommend it. Merge words. Merge words is a very simple tool to use. Basically I just use it if I'm running out of keyword ideas. The way it works essentially is you can plug in a few words here. For example, I type in workout, basketball, arm exercises, basketball players, and merges the words together to give you different keyword combinations. So example, in this situation I have workout, arm exercises, basketball players, workout, arm exercises, etc, etc. You get the point. It's just a nice little tool that you can have potentially to sense check something if you've potentially missed out on a keyword combination or a keyword idea, or potentially even a content idea that you may have not thought of before. Moving on, this is a tool I mentioned prior regarding those little barrels and those little red results that you've seen in the past. Keywords everywhere. This is a tool that's 100% free. The way it works is you go to the Chrome website store, you download the plugin, you go here, you get the free API tool, you set it up, you plug it in. The way it works is that when you set up and when you search for a particular search term, it gives you related keywords and people also search for, and it gives you the search volume, CPC, and competitive rate. So this is pretty much like a mini keyword planner tool. So I like this. I think it's actually quite useful. And if you can't afford to run ads to use keyword planner to get the exact search volumes and you're sick of getting those ranges, this is a nifty little tool that you can use to help you get search volume. So I strongly recommend that tool. Another tool that I love using is this one. For those who aren't aware, it's called Google Tag Assistant. This is a free tool. It helps you identify if there's any tracking errors or tracking issues with any of the tags on the site. In this case, I've plugged in Sydney Morning Herald, which is a large newspaper publication that's online and in print. And here they've got a few floodlight errors. So this is regarding paid search or PPC. They've got analytics set up. So this is very, very useful because I've come across that analytics tool that I mentioned to you before regarding how important it is to have accurate data that you can make decisions on. And there's nothing worse if you're doing SEO and it turns out that one of your pages you're tracking have a problem with Tag Manager or Google Analytics and it's tracking things incorrectly. So it's not giving you the proper data to make proper business decisions. So in this case, it's a free tool that you basically get from the Google store. And in this case, out of the 7 tags, 4 of them have errors. So imagine if you have a client and you bring this type of information to them, it's very, very invaluable to them. It makes you look like a superstar. And on top of that, imagine if this is your own business and you're not aware that there's a tracking problem and you're under-reporting or over-reporting on something. So once again, it's very, very important to use these type of free tools to ensure that your data is accurate. And finally, another tool that I like to use from time to time is Portent, SERP preview tool. There are other tools like this online, which are SERP analyzers. Well, the way it works is that you can basically use this for metadata optimization. So for example, you have a title, let's just say SEO Agency Sydney, and you just want to see how it looks like from the page header perspective. You have it here, and then it also shows you how your description will look like in search results. This is quite useful, and I think it's a nifty little tool to have, especially if you're more visual when it comes to doing your metadata optimization. So I've provided with you a slew of free tools. I will be also providing a list of these tools in the description. They will be timestamped. I really hope you guys have gained a lot from this video, and if you've liked this video, please hit the like button again and subscribe if you get a lot of information and value out of it. Once again, thanks a lot guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.